Hey,
It's okay.
welcome to Vibe Osmosis. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's been a long one since the storm, but yeah, go ahead and introduce yourself and your astrological sign.
My astrological sign. Okay. Um, well, I go by Jacober. That's what I release music as. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. Um, I used to be, well, and still am the drummer in Dope Body. And I also write songs and release stuff as Jacober. I'm a multi instrumentalist, but based in jazz percussion. I write songs, produce, um, sing, play drums, and yeah, I kind of do a little bit of everything. I just put out a new single, which is on all the major streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple Music and all those. You can find it under Jacober. The song is called Pennies in My Pocket. You could also go to my Instagram, which is at Jacober, Jacober 87. And there's a link to my Bandcamp there where I sell my past releases and also this single and all my merch and such. So that's pretty much it. That's that and yeah, I'm a Baltimore City Public School music teacher. So those are the things that I do.
And with music teaching, like do you kind of break down like music theory? Do you go from the basics of like how you read music, write music? And
Um,
yeah.
well, well. Oh yeah, I forgot to also finish your question. I'm Scorpio. Um, yeah, October 26th. So, um, and as far as teaching goes, I mean, I was a private drum instructor for a long time, just teaching private drum lessons. Um, but then I moved into teaching music as a whole. And currently, yeah, I'm just teaching basics of rhythmic training and music theory, how to read music, how to improvise, how to play together as a group. Like we're really starting from nothing because this school has a good amount of resources, like more than most Baltimore City public schools, but they have like no music program, so we're kind of building it from the bottom up. And this is my first year there, so shout out to East Springs, baby. Yep, they support it. They follow me. A bunch of my students follow me on Spotify and stuff.
That is really nice. I always like to like low key, like I feel like it's like if any coworkers or anybody of mine like are interested in music but or like they do play music, that's whenever I'm like, yeah, so like I'm interested. But then it's like if I know they have no interest, I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not even gonna bring this up, I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So also, I'm a really big fan of your work, and with your music,
Thank you.
you like you dive into different kinds of various like tones, organics, and like different kinds of instruments. And
Hmm.
also like I was wondering what inspired like your new single that's kind of a different take per se than what you're doing like way back when.
You mean like light years and stuff and all that? Like, I mean that's the last full length I put out. That um, you were asking about the instrumentation. So that album is all it's heavy on marimba, which you probably noticed. Drums, electric guitar, bass, vocals, just some synth tones that I use, chord poly six, and that's about it. Other than a little bit of percussion here and there. So that one was I was just going for like a full band kind of organic feel, but it like it was cool and I'm proud of it. But now I'm trying to make music that's a little bit more stripped down. Like I'm getting a little bit more into a minimalist approach, which you might have noticed in my single. But that single "Pennies in My Pocket" is actually about my grandma, um, because I had this really profound experience like 3 or 4 years ago with her when she passed away. Basically in my arms, and I felt good. And I was the only one there, and it was crazy because I was supposed to see her like an hour before that, but for some through some weird twist of fate, I came an hour later, and as soon as I got there, they were like, "She's actively dying," and I was like, "Oh my god, what do I do?" my mom was like, you have to hold her hand and tell her it's okay and blah blah blah. And so I did, and I just literally just wept and like walked her through the other side, bro, for real. And then that next day, I was sitting there thinking about her, and like this plant, like it's a jade plant that I've had for like 5 years, and it was way too big for the pot that it was in. Like it was on the verge of making the pot explode because like the roots were getting real big. But I had had it for years. And I was sitting there and it's dead quiet. And I'm just thinking about my grandmother, and the plant explodes, and like the pot exploded and just like literally like flew off my shelf. It was so weird. And I just kind of yeah, and I just took it as a sign, and that's what that song's about. Yeah, thank you. I'm trying to work on storytelling more a little bit, like as a writer, and not always trying to rhyme, things like that. Thank you. Um, well, um, honestly, I'm really obsessed with Wu Tang right now. Um, and I've been going through just because RZA is like one of my favorite producers, and there's just so many good artists in that band. So I've been going through their whole catalog. But other than that, I listen to everything from like dub. I listen to a lot of dub, like classic dub. But I don't really know of any like new bands that are like blowing my mind. I'm sure there's some really good ones, but my life is so wrapped up in music. Like the most music I experience is through playing with my students, and that's like the most punk it gets because we could like don't necessarily know what they're doing or have had any music training at all, and it's like that's because when I get home from that, I'm not necessarily in the mood to listen to music because I've been working all day, but I still have energy to create music. I just don't really feel like listening to it because we get real loud with like percussion ensemble and all that stuff. So I don't know if that makes sense.
I definitely think like after I don't know, a good 9, 10 hour shift or so, even like whenever you're getting some time to yourself, it's like even if you're trying to get on the headphones and start creating, it's a little bit harder. Other than like whenever you have like I don't know, a couple I don't know, realm of time to kind of really take the dive into your music and develop and also like play live and record and that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I mean, yeah, it's just whatever I have energy for. I've been creating a lot, and I actually just produced my first record for someone else, like someone else's record from start to finish. I recorded it, mixed it, mastered it, all that, and you can find that too. It's really good. Her name is Krista Wilcox, like Christa, last name Wilcox, uh, like Wilcox, and the name of her record that I produced is called "In the Arms of a Goldfinch," and it's basically just really, really beautiful folk music.
And also in producing music, like what's like some of your favorite processes like about like taking the time to record or pitch out some ideas maybe and that kind of stuff.
All kinds of different stuff. It depends on who I'm working with. I have a revolving cast of friends that just pop through. Some of them I'm working on records with, some we're just jamming, some I'm making stuff fresh with. And I write a lot of progressions too, so I'll end up making tracks and then just showing them to my friends. And then some of my friends like them, I'll like give them that track, and then they can I mean, this is a new process, but that's one thing I've been doing, just like a lot of beats and stuff that I have. Um, but I'm basically trying to just facilitate a more communal um, way to make music with, like I said, like lots of different people to work with, and I'm starting to build that community. Like I'm part of this art collective called Maurice, and it's a Baltimore-based art collective of a bunch of people. But I'm like the only musician in it, really. Well, pretty much. I'm like the producer of the bunch, so I'm making solo projects for like three other members. One of who is the singer of Dope Body, Andrew Lauman, and yeah. So I got a lot of different projects brewing. But yeah, my process just depends on who I'm making music with or what the piece of music is. Like sometimes I'll just set up drums and bass and we'll just like make something up and just build on it. Or sometimes I'll have a progression stuck in my head and I just record it like with guitar. And then, I mean, being a drummer, it's pretty easy for me to realize ideas because I have in my studio, like my drums just stay mic'd up. So I'm looking for more musicians to produce. And I'm also going to put out a lot more music this year. So lots of cool stuff to look forward to in my world right now.
And
I love.
with recording music too though, is it
Mhm.
kind of like in a studio, or is it also like kind of bedroom or spaces that it's just like that's the music room? You know, like how do you kind of operate?
So I've had my home studio has been building up like over the course of probably I don't know like 15 years or something. You know, like it's taken a long time, but now I finally turned the third bedroom in my house into like a more permanent setup. So I kind of just soundproofed it simply and just have my whole setup in there. But sometimes I do go to other studios to record drums, or if I want something really specific that I don't have enough space in my house to do, I'll do that. But usually I just record everything myself. I actually have a degree in radio and audio engineering and jazz performance minor from a local school called Towson University. So I've been doing that stuff for a while, but I never really started trying to do it for other people until recently because it just kind of came up, and then I was like, oh, this is actually turning out really well. I think I'm pretty good at this, or people think I'm good at it, so I must be. You know what I mean?
I definitely do. And like I think taking the time to like have your own comfortable space to record and work on your music, you know, it makes that impact on the music a lot better, and especially if you're getting in the rhythm of like, performing or playing live, and then like taking that, I guess, like to the studio to do something specific like record drums too or work on a
Mhm.
track. Like that is always like a much better experience than just like um I don't know. I guess
Pain.
yeah, going through
I
the
know.
pain of it.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. I experienced that with so many bands, like so many times. Like you get the songs tight and you head to the studio and then you get it all recorded and it's like there's all this pressure because you're on the clock and it's just not as relaxed. But I mean, my friends just come through and just hang out and do what we do and um just like get creative and like literally we'll like bust out a beat and just pass the mic around and like try out different ideas and it's like it's a really cool it's a cool thing. But
and
I do have drums set up now, so I'm doing all my own drums now.
and I want to bring up a piece of gear that you like to like jam on or to record with like every time, like that's like your go to or like a favorite amp.
Um, I actually don't have any amps because I'm not a guitar player, but like I'll have my guitar player friends bring some amps. My favorite thing is this 500 series rack that I bought. I got like a Rupert Neve design mic pre that's like really really nice, and that's probably my favorite thing right now. Just because it makes literally everything sound uh, I don't know, it's just really nice. That's probably my favorite thing right now.
And
Um,
whenever you first started making music, like what was like your first instrument that you learned?
First instrument I learned was drums. Like I started with drums. And that's what I studied. I was drumming all through middle school and high school. All 4 years of high school, I played in. It was a Catholic high school. I'm not really religious, but it was a Catholic high school. I played in the choir 4 years and jazz band 4 years, and then went to Towson and studied music. And now I teach it. So yeah, but I started with drums, then I learned piano, and then I learned a little guitar. But I never stopped with drums. Um, I kind of put the guitar down for a long time, but I can still like strum through a song. But I'm
Well,
pretty decent at piano and marimba. Like anything keyboard oriented, I can write with pretty easily.
I was about to say because with your music, it really does like it translates. So I was wondering if you use like do you like like set up like PA speakers or have like your own like little surround sound so you're getting like everything that you have like maybe plugged up into the mixers whenever you're working on tracks. How does it break
I
down
mean, I
for
just
you?
I,
Yeah.
I mean, I just have a basic setup. I have like just an interface that goes in and out of my computer that I can run. Like I have a rack that has all my preamps and compressors and
Nice.
reverbs and stuff like that. And I just have it all linked up so that it's all gonna. I can just monitor it live through my like studio like monitor speakers, or if we're doing something live with a microphone, then we just go into headphone mode. Um, but yeah, I just have speakers and headphones. Like it's really like simple, honestly.
No, that's actually a good way of saying minimalistic because it kind of translates on making a song very very like primitive and also like driven by like the sounds and I feel like the effects too. Like there's like a lot of correlation, and I wondered like how the beats and stuff operated because like you got some really cool intricate stuff going on, especially in this new single. And so here's my follow up question: do you have like a favorite movie right now?
Ooh, a favorite movie? Oh man. Well, I am a horror fan. I will say that. Um, and the last movie, I'll tell you, the last movie I watched was Terrifier, and one of my students told me about it. It was actually horrifying that one of my students has actually seen that, but it, it was like the goriest, like most brutal movie I've ever seen, and it actually was scary. And I'm a hard scare, but that's the last movie I watched. Like my favorite movie of all time, though, I don't know if I could say. That's There's so many good ones. But that was the last one I watched. Trying to think. What's that?
I'm a fan too of the Terrifier. I've watched them and I'm a fan of like Scream.
Me too. I love Scream.
I'm really wanting to see this new one. I haven't showed out to go see it. It was now playing at the drive-in theater around here now, so I'm trying to
I
get
I
a late
saw it.
night.
It was. I mean, it was worth seeing. I mean, they're all like decent. You know what I mean? They
Yeah,
have a pretty decently high standard. Like
I think in the
they
last
don't just make movies that suck.
Yeah, I think in the last few, like they throw in some curveballs where like you maybe think that but then at the same time, like you still get that good old twist at the end where it's like, all right, maybe pulling together.
Well, I don't. I mean, I think that's getting played out. I don't want to say too much about the new one, but it's kind of like I think they've done that so many times that now that's almost like what we expect when we watch a Scream movie.
That's exactly
You gotta
right.
expect the unexpected. Like whoever is the least sus is the most like creeping like on the low. It's always whoever's the least sus is like definitely like the one or one of them.
Now, I was gonna ask you, are you a fan of like musicals and stuff? Are you interested in seeing the Barbie movie?
I don't. I mean, I guess I would go for free. I
Go
don't
for
know if I'm
free.
like. I
I
would. I don't know if I. I gotta get the review from my students first and see if it's like if it's busting or if it's capping. I don't know. They'll let me know, and they'll tell me like if I should go see it or not. So I usually like filter my what I'm gonna go see through them. But I don't not like musicals. they're not like my favorite, but um, I definitely love movies and music, and I do like theater. It's just not something that I'm super involved with.
And here I feel like here's an easy one maybe for you. What do you love the most about drums and percussion?
What do I love the most about it? Um, uh, well, I mean, I know this probably sounds corny, but you know the saying that like music is the universal language, and I think like the oldest and like most ancient and uh, holy form of that is just like rhythm. And I mean, I've been all over the world and seen it. Like it just translates. Like it's its own language that people can feel no matter what. And also, it's just really good for your. It's really good for my head. Like it connects left and right brain. So it's like if I'm stressed out or whatever, and I'm playing drums, I just stop thinking about all my problems. Like, and it's always been like that, and it's always been like a way for me to bond with people. Like I don't even, I spent a long time practicing by myself. Obviously, going to school for music and stuff, many hours in practice rooms and stuff. But I mean, my favorite thing to do, and I think the whole point is connecting with other people, and percussion's a really good way to do that.
And here's a funny one for you. If you were going
Okay.
to like characterize yourself compared to like a cartoon show, animated show, like what character do you think represents you?
Hmm, that is a good one. Um, let's see. Maybe I mean I'm a big. I would like to think that I'm as cool as Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life, but I don't think I'm that cool. Um, uh, who else is good? Maybe I'd be. Yeah, I think I want to be Rocco
And
or
also,
Cat Dog or Cat Dog.
Cat Dog, yeah, Cat Dog is solid.
Cat Dog is
Also,
tight. Or this isn't a cartoon, but Agent Fox Mulder from the X Files.
hey, yeah, all right. I'm also a fan of sci-fi myself. All right, so
Cool.
if an alien, was with you right now, what kind of music would you show the alien first?
I don't know if I'd be able to calm down enough. Like, if the alien could speak English and was like, play me a track. I mean, I honestly would probably play him one of my new tracks and be like, is this is this cool or no?
Yeah, then I would be like,
um,
all right, alien, show me one of your tracks.
I, I really wouldn't want to be responsible for introducing them to the very first piece of music they've ever heard. And honestly, I think the aliens would probably have already heard like libraries of music that I've never even been exposed to. Probably already knows more about everything than I do. I think aliens have like way more intel on what we do than we do.
All right, so did you think that those like balloons, how they like were saying that they were UFOs? Do you think that UFOs were out there, or do you think that was all like a hoax kind of joke thing?
I don't know about the balloon scenario specifically, but I definitely believe in aliens. And I mean the government's even admitting there's like I don't know, UFOs or they had some other name for them, but they're UFOs. I mean, they've released videos and through all the like storytelling I've listened to, um, yeah, I definitely believe in aliens. I think anyone who thinks we're the only life out there in the whole universe is not very open minded.
Hey, do you like video games? Do you play any video games?
I don't play video games. I stopped playing video games when I was like a teenager, but I have a lot of friends who play video games. And I actually kind of like to watch people play video games, but I don't really actually enjoy playing them, except for like really old stuff like Mortal Kombat, stuff like
Okay,
that.
yeah, Mortal Kombat. I'm about to say is a classic, but the new update for like PlayStation and Xbox, it's so much harder, and like it's so
It's
much,
insane.
yeah, like
Yeah,
it's so much like combinations and like learning different kinds of controls for you to like.
like this isn't even fun.
It doesn't make it the same way as like, yeah, actually seeing who's faster at getting the buttons and getting your ass kicked, I guess.
I was a big fan of like the PlayStation One controller,
Oh
and
yeah,
after that, I mean that's the last system I got. Um,
yeah.
my
PlayStation
roommate has a
One.
Nintendo Switch though.
Yeah, the Nintendo Switch exactly. It's one of those classics where you do not mind watching like what the fuck is going on in there.
Right.
Um, one of
Um,
the ones I've been getting back to is Halo. I was wondering if you ever gave Halo a spin.
I I have a funny story about Halo. I here's my experience with Halo. One time I was renting a room out in my house in Baltimore to this dude who was the manager at the restaurant I was working at, and he would play Halo and like Call of Duty with Halo a lot. Like sit downstairs, he had like the headpiece microphone. He'd be playing with like people in other countries or other cities and having like full volume conversations with them while like machine gun fire and grenades are just going off every 5 seconds. And then he would rip this like 3 foot bong and like then he would like chug like some plastic handle vodka and like chase it down with some Mountain Dew Code Red. And it was just like when I think of like people that are like too into gaming, it reminds me of that dude. And that's probably not fair because he had some other issues, but it was like I don't know. It's just whenever I think of like those games, I think of that dude just sitting there smoking a 3 foot bong, chugging that Rickle off, hitting the code red, and just like coughing. Like, oh god, the cough after the 3 foot rip was like I'll never forget it.
The
It's
worst,
epic.
the longest cough ever. I'm sure. I'm a fan of
Like
the
the what?
I'm a fan of the long bongs. Like I'm a fan of the weed, but like whenever they're
Yeah,
so big, I'm just like, what's the point? Because you're having to put so much weed in there and hold up so much smoke. You're just like killing yourself by the
it
time.
yeah. There's a point of excessiveness for sure. But
Oh
anyway,
man.
yeah. So you live in New York, right?
Well, I'm actually now in Dayton, Ohio,
Oh, okay,
and
cool. I've been there before. I have.
now they have like a slight revival for music scene. I don't know, like weirder. And I was kind of wondering if like the pandemic just like allowed maybe like some like there was like no longer focused on just like cheesy metal rock bands, like it now like encourage like all kinds of music or all younger bands and newer bands or older. So I was like wondering like and did you kind of experience that for yourself after the pandemic with like music in general?
With new music, not necessarily, but I did like one thing cool that happened over like the pandemic was my band Dope Body made a record called Homebody that we made like remotely. So like Zach and I were both in Baltimore and John and Andrew were both in LA and we were just sending like tracks back and forth, and that's how we made our album Homebody. So that was like my favorite like musical experience of the whole pandemic, I guess. But I don't know. It's hard to. I mean, I kind of pay attention to the Baltimore music scene, but I already sort of know. I mean, if something pops up that's hot, like I mean, there's new talent a lot, but at the same time, a lot of the stuff that's going on right now, I'm just like I'd rather just be home working on my own stuff than going out.
True. I was like whenever the pandemic happened, I was like living in Seattle, and like right before I could see like what kind of bands were like more getting into it, and then like closer and closer. Oh,
Hey, sorry about that. Not sure what happened there.
maybe call fall. I don't know. It could have been on my end. Yeah. So like I was just saying, right before like pandemic, and whenever I was living on Seattle, like the music scene was kind of like shifted towards like a different kind of audience, and then I seen like as it got closer, you could see like a more shift. And then like whenever I moved back east, I could like really see whenever like venues open back up, like them take on like kind of like any kind of act, almost to an extent. And that's kind of like when I wondered like if you were yeah, like one of those people that go out to see like the live music. I was wondering like what the live music is like out there in Baltimore now. Like I see like some of these people that come through like on tour, um, and always hear like some wild stories about like some person like. It's always a Baltimore story. I feel like I don't know. You got any crazy ones? No, I guess I seen that my Bluetooth thing was on, and my partner kept on trying to connect it to the Bluetooth or something. I don't know.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Oh, always,
Bluetooth problem.
technology. I swear, technology these days. All right. So here's my question for you: do you have like vinyl? Are you a vinyl collector or listener?
I have a small collection of vinyl, but I don't really collect it. I have plenty of friends who do. I have access to volumes and awesome libraries of vinyl if I want to listen to it, and sometimes I do listen to it with a lot. But I have my own vinyl. Like I put Light Years out on vinyl, which you can still order through my Bandcamp and stuff. But no, I don't, I'm not a collector. I feel like I don't have the space or the money.
All right. So with with your own like little collection, like shout out like some of the ones where you're like I had to get this.
Um, I mean, anytime I see like a Jay Dilla vinyl, I try to get it. Um, um, I I I uh, I really like this German label out of Cologne called Compact Records, and they put out these compilations every year of ambient music that are like really, really beautiful. And when I was on tour in Cologne, we stopped through their record shop, and I bought two vinyl there, two of their compilation records. They're called like Compact Pop Volume. There's like one through God, I don't know which one they're on now, but I bought like 7 and 13 or something like that, and they're just like fire all the way through. Those are probably my favorite vinyls that I own.
Some good shout outs. And also, I guess before we go, here's my funny question. If you were stranded on an island and you could bring one thing with you, what would you bring?
Dude, that is so funny you're asking that question because I asked that question. I use that as a circle question as we do like restorative practices in my school. I use that as a question all the time. So I've heard so many different answers. And if I could bring one thing, I think the thing that I would bring is another human. Because like I mean, if you can call that a thing, now, does it have to be an object, or am I breaking the rules? I mean, you want to if you could bring one thing, wouldn't you want to bring like a partner or somebody that you could like you know at least like bond with and like enjoy their company and like share like weird horrible meals with that you caught on this shitty island?
Yeah, we all need a Wilson in this case.
Right, exactly. Um, but yeah. Well, I guess just let me know when I can listen to it or whenever you put it out.
No problem. All right,
And
all
I,
right. Before we go too, do you have any
yeah.
like songs that you want to shout out that I should play right after this?
As far as other people's music go or my music, um, I think you should play Kate Cobain, my favorite Baltimore rapper. Kate Cobain Bankroll remix. I don't know if you've ever heard it, but it's very Baltimore and it's really good. And he actually won a Grammy with Beyonce this year. Um, and I bought a verse from him like 4 years ago that I'm sitting on. but he's awesome. He's really really amazing, and that's the song that really made him pop off. But it's called Bankrolls Remix by Kate Cobain. Kate Cobain is Tateko Bang Bang. And as far as one of my tracks goes, um, I think you should play. Hmm. Do you have access to all my tracks?
Basically.
Pretty much. What? Okay. Um, I think one of my favorites is either Light Years off of the title track off of Light Years, or the very last song, which is called one. I think it's called One Thing
All
off
right.
that record.
Yeah.
Pretty epic outro. I like.
And thank you very much for taking the time to join Vibe Osmosis.
Oh, thank you for having me. It was nice talking to you, and I hope to, maybe one day I'll be able to grace the stage in Dayton.
Well, true. I'm also like a traveling person myself, so you never know if we cross paths, and you know how that goes.
Right. But if you ever come through Baltimore, hit me up.
All right, and thank you. All right, and you have a good rest of your day. I will keep you updated on this one.
Okay, all right. Thanks so much, Jeffy. You too. Peace.